there remains a great chasm of misunderstanding between people from the North and people from the South, you know. And you know what it all boils down to? It all boils down to language. Yankees think we talk funny. God talks like we do.
Growing up in the southern U.S., you'll learn fast that the rest of the country don't talk like you. Every single newscaster, weatherman, talk show presenter, or internet personality nowadays seems to have the same untraceable generic Yankee accent. The only time you'll hear a southern accent in the media seems to be for comic relief as a hick/hillbilly character in movies and television. This paints a picture in young impressionable minds that our way of talking is a vestige of the past, a backwoods, uneducated, hillbilly way of talking. Unsurprisingly, many among my generation have unconsciously adopted an accent foreign to the region by picking up the same generic all-American Yankee accent that you hear in the media. It's not exactly northern, not exactly Californian, not exactly Midwestern, and not at all southern. The accent most Americans have nowadays seems to have developed somewhere between Albany, New York, and San Diego, California. This has been adopted by the youth not just in the South, but in other parts of the country that have distinctive accents that are rooted in the region's history. But personally, I don't care so much about those places as I do the South, so that's not what I'll tell. My family is from Georgia, and they've been in Georgia since it was a colony. When my family decided to move to Florida when I was still in diapers, I was still learning to talk like them. Despite living in a place where many snowbirds have been building their nests over the years, as soon as I set foot in school, I was poked fun of for my accent. Turns out you can't say can't in a way where it rhymes with ain't, and you ain't supposed to say ain't neither. Well, saying can't the other way sounds so much like can that my family didn't know if I can or can't say anything right. And explaining that the playground floor was made up of chopped up bits of rubber tire to people had them envisioning me swimming in a lake of black tar the way my little Georgia self pronounced it. I got grief for talking Southern in school, so I learned to talk just like my Northern transplant teachers. I fell victim to the loss of identity just like the people I'm about to complain about. However, after spending enough time in Georgia with fairly country people, to the standards of the rest of the country at least, I started throwing out y'alls and ain'ts, and I can't stop it. Whatever the case, I don't sound exactly like my grandparents. At least I don't sound exactly like those reaction YouTubers from California making clickbait videos. One particularly striking example to me was a girlfriend of mine a few years ago from Douglasville, Georgia. Her family had been in Douglasville for generations. I met 3 generations of them. All of them are what us middle Georgia folk would consider hillbillies, i.e. literal hill people that would have been running shine and shooting at red squirrels from the log cabins just 50 years earlier. They all looked and talked as you would suspect, and they were the kindest, gentlest people you would ever meet. However, my 19-year-old girlfriend at that time sounded like she could have been from Los Angeles. It almost makes me feel like I'm a paranoid schizophrenic noticing this pattern when nobody around me acknowledges it. It wasn't just her, it was a good deal of people around my age. When I would jokingly call her a hillbilly, she would recoil in anger, which was funny enough to keep me doing it. Why is it so bad to be a hillbilly, though? Or simply a southerner, for that matter? Just because the media portrays us as slack-jawed simpletons doesn't mean we are. I mean, she could have looked at her whole family up and down and found tons of examples of smart, resourceful people. Throwing away your heritage to become a cultural monolith foreign to your own birthplace seems strange to me. Sure, we're different, but that's okay. We're raised in a place where people go to church on Sundays, shoot guns, go mudding, ride four-wheelers, raise a whole lot of hell, and then go on to help a little old lady with her groceries. We're kind-hearted and extremely resourceful. Where else in the country can you find a plumber that can also do HVAC, fix cars, build a carport for a 64 Mustang, and shotgun a beer quicker than you can say Mississippi? It's nothing to be ashamed of. I propose a solution. We should have a news network where our reporters are either named Bubba or Junior. Nobody knows if he took his dad's name or is literally named Junior, and are from small towns in Alabama, Georgia, and Mississippi. Our presenters can be yuppie polo-wearing Clemson, South Carolina grads with a slow Carolina drawl. Or sports journalists can be taken off the street of any small town in the South and simply given a microphone, presuming accurately that they know the entire history of the SEC. Our weatherman can be from the bayous of Louisiana, providing simple commentary like, "Sure look like rain gonna be coming down the bayou." Our hurricanes can be named Betty Joe or Annie Mae, and we can have a mandatory 6 o'clock fishing forecast for every local area. Now, it may not cause a massive cultural awakening to where everyone in the country is painting their cars black with spray paint and painting number 3s on them. It may not even lead to an Alan Jackson presidency. But if we establish ourselves as more than just a caricature to be laughed at through some form of independent media, we can at least give our kids a better alternative portrayal when they turn on the screen.